Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Roy. Very excited to have this session. If you guys want to send through in the chat where you're tuning in from today, we would love that. So we have the chat for any open discussions that come up. And we also have a Q&A sections if you want to send through any questions. So I'm giving the stage to you, Roy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ifat, and thank you everybody for having me. You hear me well, right? Okay. So really nice to see everybody are joining in. Let's wait a few, 2 more minutes for the late ones. In the meantime, I'll introduce myself and I will share my screen. And yeah, feel free to say where you're tuning in from. Why I cannot share my screen? Okay. Okay, you guys can see my screen, right? Okay. Okay, so a little bit about myself. Again, I'm super happy to be here. Demand is one of my favorite communities. And as a community manager myself, this is something big to be here with you guys. A little bit about myself. So Roy, I'm from Tel Aviv, Israel, almost 12 years in marketing. Always been in marketing in tech companies. I started as a junior PPC manager and kind of like worked my way through all the way to being the VP marketing at a startup that was called Oribi, which was acquired by LinkedIn in 2022. Then I moved to LinkedIn to build kind of like the first office here in Tel Aviv, and in a hybrid role of marketing, sales, and agency development. So you will see a lot of examples and references in this session from things in LinkedIn. And then I moved to kind of like driving and leading the sales, the marketing motion of the demand generation in a startup called Atera. And then 3 months ago, I moved to being a freelance, and I started my own consultancy business. And today I'm working with 1,000 startups. Some are local, some are not. All the way things from go-to-market strategy, and then all the way to paid acquisition strategies, and also doing some hands-on sometimes. Okay, so let's start. We know in this competitive landscape today in B2B, we already know that we have this is the time that we have to capture the attention of our audience, right? We all know the story about the attention span of the goldfish, so it's still true, and yes, it's going much worse than that. So we have that, and I think 3 years ago we started to see a really big increase when it comes to CPCs and CPMs in all of the platforms, I think, especially the veteran ones. So it still is a red ocean, and the ad auctions are still very expensive. And also when we're talking about B2B, it usually is, again, it's competitive, and it's sometimes really hard to explain what we do. And then the combination of the short attention span, this competitive landscape, and the complex product that we market and sell lead us to the back to the drawing board, and think about how we can be more creative and how can we be stand above the noise. So if we're talking about a range of creativity, okay, I think there's something between, let's say, companies that do really really boring content, and if we're talking about content that is more extreme, content that is more strange. I think most companies are somewhere here. Maybe they are doing kind of like more colorful ads, or they would say things like "Let's go" in their landing page, in their CTAs, instead of like "Try now." But I think it's time that we move here. Let's get visual. So let's focus on the visual aspects for a second. So I know that you guys are fans of metadata and MetaMatch, and yes, their ads are great and very creative, and with style and everything is super outstanding there. But I worked in LinkedIn and I saw that yes, still many of the ads out there and many of the marketing materials that we see out there still look like this, and it's a shame because I think that the best ads or the best creatives or the best content um, are things like that. Okay, and these are the content. These are the types of ads that work actually, and I think we can try to move to this, and we can do it together. So this is example of this is a video. So make sure. Do you still hear me, Ifat? I have an issue here. This is an example from Slack in its first days. Okay, so let's watch it for a minute.
All kinds of people on all kinds of teams use Slack to do amazing things.
Yeah, so this is the old logo, so you can tell it's an old ad. I think that they used kind of an AI before it exploded and it was where it is today. So I guess it took them a lot of time to produce something like this, but it's super nice. And it reminded me, again, I didn't know this commercial. Maybe you guys did. You know that? Like, you're welcome to write in the chat. And it reminded me of an example of a post that I saw from a B2B company that's called Checkmarks. They're an AppSec, company. They're I think 12 or 13 years in the business, and I have friends that work there, and they told me that they had a breakthrough with their product. They kind of like succeeded to cut something really really substantial in the product. They cut the time of the results that their clients get from the product. Again, something very technical. It's hard for me even to explain. And they wanted to promote this in their organic pages, and also to have a video that they can send to their clients. And again, they wanted something that will convey something very accurate but something very fast, so they used AI to do so, and this is the result, and it worked really well for them.
Accurate or fast? Fast or accurate? It used to be a choice for SaaS solutions, but now you can have both. With checkmarks, up to 90% faster scans, with the same great security you would expect from the leader in AppSec. Accurate and fast.
So yeah, the report that as an organic post, as an organic video, it outperformed most of their videos so far, and it took them just like 2 days to produce. They used Firefly, Adobe's Firefly. They used Runway and 11 Labs for the narrative. Oops. another example is actually from another company that is here from Israel. This is the companies of Oribi's former CEO and founder, Iris. She um, the company was called Takipi. They were doing, again, they were selling to developers and DevOps. It was a product that solves bugs and issues within the codes of these audiences. And so, kind of like boring, it's hard to say and explain what we do. And Iris always told me that she knew she had to be creative in her marketing. So they created kind of like um, monsters that are called with the names of the bugs and errors that the codes and that the company fixes. So every company, every monster was like a creature, and they played around it across all of their marketing materials, all of their posts, their ads, these kind of like they created these mascots in a way of all of the monsters that are very colorful and fun and but also awkward, and they always like they put it in within the product, everywhere that they could to add some color and creativeness. And they were a small startup, and with these kind of like posts on LinkedIn, whenever somebody joined the company, they would post on LinkedIn like a monster would greet them. So people always told them that it will get a lot of likes and engagement. So they were always saying that people thought that this company is huge, but it was just like 1,000 people startups. Okay, so more examples that from first source from my campaigns. I don't know if you guys remember Oribi, but it was a marketing and analytics SaaS, mainly for marketers and e-commerce, websites. We knew that we want to stand out, and in our creatives, we used to do a lot of ads mainly in YouTube and in social. And we knew that we wanted to do something with puppets, so we bought puppet and kind of like made them our own. There was one video with puppets that represent, like, each represent a different channel. So this one was Facebook, there was a YouTube, and there was Google, and they were all like had their pros and cons. Obviously, we emphasize the cons, and how Aribi can help you with analyzing your traffic from different sources and something like that. And one example was this marketer that we created. His name is George, and we made a video. We made actually a couple of videos because of the success of the first one. So I want to show you the first one.
This is George. He works in marketing. He likes it. He gets to manage the company's social channels, create content, and be in charge of the website.
That one's harder without hands.
But he hates measuring his performance with Google Analytics.
It's a curse!
But now he can use Oribi instead. Oribi makes his life easier by automatically analyzing his entire website and monitoring all his events. He doesn't need to code or plan anything in advance. He can just ask Oribi.
Which blog post drives the most sales? How does the recent change on my homepage impact performance? Why isn't my latest Facebook campaign performing well?
Problem solved. So don't be a Google Analytics puppet. Try Oribi today.
So we made these videos in-house, like the full production, with the help of the creative person, the one creative person I had on my team. We used, George was the hand of someone in the office, and the narrator was Avi from sales. So it's super low budget of production, and it really exploded. So
this is.
I captured some of the comments. So when people were posting and commenting, marketing to marketers, it's a thing, right? It can be tricky, it can get bad, but when it's good, it's good. So I captured all these engagements, and when people say legit makes me want to try this program, brilliant ad, or all of my problems will be solved if it does what the ad says. We'll be trying this, then I did my job, and this ad worked really amazing for us, and generated a lot of revenue for us. And then we created a sequel, and then we created and then George had fans all over the world, so we kind of like sent them gifts, so it was super fun. Another example is another developers or DevSec company. Their name is Commodore, and they're doing something around Kubernetes that it's really hard for me to explain, of course. And this is example. So my friend was the VP marketing there, and he's told me that they created around a specific event that they were having a booth in and presenting in. They changed their entire brand language and create towards kind of like these motives. You guys probably recognize the Rick and Morty vibes here. So this was super popular among their target audience, and they report that just see this image, and they said just the fact that they brought this costume of the of this figure and this shield, people were lining up to get photos with that, and then it became like a super popular booth just because they brought just these two accessories, and they got exactly what they needed in terms of leads and pipeline generated from this event. So again, this is a great way to pop up when you're going to events. I don't know if you guys know this. Again, this is a high production example, but I had to show it because I really like it. I don't know if you know it.
There used to be one way to pirate. You pillage, you loot, you set fire to the village, you move on. But that model is ripe for disruption. Excuse me. As CEO of my own pirate enterprise, I chose HubSpot as our CRM platform because it helps us treat customers like people, not conquests. Plus, it enables my teams to work together seamlessly as we expand. And ahoy, did we expand.
600 new customer acquisitions in the South Pacific.
We're going westward, and winds at our back.
But with HubSpot's easy-to-use CRM platform, the whole fleet is on the same page, and our customers never slip through the cracks.
It's always a pleasure. I know they're pirates, but they care.
Thanks to HubSpot, I have learned that my real treasures are my employees and customers. And gold. But mostly customers. A little bit of gold.
HubSpot. Grow better.
Okay. Now let's get physical. We're not just talking about ads and posts. Let's do something else. So I like to when I do this lecture, in front of a live audience, I like to ask, like, have you ever unboxed a SaaS platform? And then like everybody's looking at me weird. So this example is another example from Oribi. The story is that, like a lot of other SaaS businesses, we had a challenge when it comes to retention. It wasn't like a huge crisis, but we thought that we could improve. So we made an analysis, and we found out that there's a correlation between people who don't engage with the product in their onboarding time. So the funnel was like they're trying out Oribi, leads were trying out Oribi for a week or 14 days, and then they would purchase it, and then they had like an onboarding period of like between 14 days to 30 days, and then we expect them to kind of like learn the product and use it on their own. And then we saw that the folks, the companies that were churning were the ones who didn't really engage as much as we want them to engage with the product in their onboarding phase. So we knew that we had to do something different when it comes to onboarding strategic clients, strategic accounts. Okay, so we created the Oribi growth box, and this is not another swag box. We did the entire onboarding with this. So we created kind of like we call it like a 4-week optimization challenge or growth challenge. Basically, again, because of the way the context of the product, we were again marketing in the website analytics tool, and because when there's these challenges around diet, sports, and you always see them on New Year's resolutions. We kind of like wanted to create something around like the challenge for optimizing your website and analytics and things like that. So in the box, they were waiting, I think 7 weeks that they could choose, the funnel, and then to optimize the funnels weeks, the website optimization week, paid acquisition week, and each week and each envelope contained tasks that were like onboarding tasks that relate to the product. And we were very, very concise on like what are you getting from each week's tasks. And then in the envelope of each week, they were waiting kind of like unique stickers that we created, and every week was also included with a prize. So we had this nice notebook. We had like this, shot glass. So this was nice. And also we connected this to the website. So we had this QR code, and people can scan and also kind of like experience this entire box and the tasks and the challenges online also. And then obviously it's connected better to the product. And it really worked well. We saw a 30% lift in the user engagement, which is the set of tasks that we wanted people to go through the onboarding. So that worked really well. And it's also something that's very, again, visual and something that people like to get. So we sent it to the strategic account right after they paid, and then people started to post about it, which was nice, and it obviously helped our brand awareness. I don't have time to go over the video, but we started even just like getting videos of people thanking us for the box and how it's amazing it is, and how they made website optimization, improvements, and it was great. So yeah. And this is another example from a cybersecurity company. They're called Bottomline Technologies. They use direct mail to, I guess, again, strategic accounts for outbound. They sent kind of like this escape room in a box. They sent this like phone or mini tablet with the tasks where you had to kind of like crack a mission, crack the code, and succeed to save this group of people. And they connected obviously to the product in their notes, and they reported on like 36% conversion rate from the initial engagement to accepting a sales call. So obviously that worked for them, and they also got this kind of like direct mail program of the year award. So that's cool, and I think something like this, escape room in a box, or doing things like cute tasks, or small missions that are kind of like interactive, and not super hard. And when you can relate connected to your product, it can really make a difference. We're staying with the physical for one more example, and this is an example from the company I worked before, Ribi. It's called Workies. It was a field service management solution for garage door repair businesses and locksmith, and small to medium businesses that are in the field. And we had this refer a friend program, which was kind of like a regular one. Like, okay, we get, if you bring a friend and they subscribe to Workies, you get like a month off or something like that. And then we decided, like, my CMO just suggested, like, hey, I read this research, and people really like the fact that instead of when you send them money, they would prefer to get something edible or even, let's think about a pizza. So we kind of like even took this to the entire referral program that we had, and made it like refer a friend, get a pizza. So whenever you refer someone that you know, and they subscribe to any plan, in work is you get a pizza and they get a pizza. And then, it worked really well in the beginning, until, at least as I remember, and people were posting about it. And, something about the pizza experience when you're able to bring, pizza to your family, and, you got dinner was on you thanks to this brand. I think it creates something, and for you and your brand. Okay, and we're talking about creating something. We all know, I'm not gonna go through this a lot, but we all know that marketing is all about creating these emotional connections and like provoking any emotions. And this is something that I do where with whatever brand that I work with. In Oribi, we took the approach of like facing. Kind of like upfront with Google Analytics, because we were actually the paid alternative for them. And whatever we did, like the creatives around Google Analytics, they always won. So why? I think because here we took just the creative. This was a Facebook ad, and it performed super well for us for, I think, for a year, something like that. Crazy. Just because we said the Google Analytics is old, which is something that really provoke you, and a lot of people were always like commenting on that, because, and this is obviously helped the algorithm and make the ad what it was, a successful ad. Because a lot of people have had feelings, and this is even before GA4, had feelings around against GA. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but Google Analytics, when we were talking about it, it just made people feel things, and then they would talk about it in the comments. And it helped us a lot. And here we kind of like we took the approach and the messaging of like Google Analytics is old, or maybe is something new, get advanced, and we added these nostalgic things like this old computer, this little guy, the Nokia machine, and the old class things like that. And also something that we went like head to head with Google Analytics, and this was our take on the Apple commercial. I don't know if you remember. I'll just show you. Again, so this is something that went to our product page. So this is also something kind of like new that you see like videos in your product pages, and not just like these like static product images or GIFs in the best case. So people were, I think, I remember this still today, people were commenting and writing us about this, like, oh, how cool is your product page? Just because we were able to convey our messages and what our product really differentiate in with these videos. And we also did things like that are straight in the face of our audience. So we were again provoking the entire feelings around heat maps, right? So all the marketers and people who do CRO and marketing analytics, they know heat maps. So we were like, forget heat maps, it's going to the shredder, or it is something you need to discover. And as you saw, we were very big on videos, and it was kind of like built a machine around videos. But there was a time when I said, like, listen, we need to do something with static. Usually it's the other way around. So I knew that split screens, for Facebook, for LinkedIn, have been always working well for people. So we did something like that, and it was super successful ad. Again, it's just like a split screen, kind of like before, after, without Google Analytics. And the potato was a nice addition of our external, freelancer designer. And it was really a hit, until today, people are still talking with me about this ad. again, look at his comments and shares, and it's funny. It's like this ad, I think a person from sales, I think he quoted when he was demoing, Ruby, he was, he was he would never stop referring to this ad by the client, by the lead. So that was nice. And this is something that I did very similarly in a new ad that I just released for a client of mine. Still works very well. Again, you guys can still split screens with this small headline and like the before, after, with, without, still work. And this is example of performance marketing that I sometimes work with. Their name is Pareto, and they are working with ULife, which is a B2B SaaS platform for HR managers. And the client initially wanted them to start Facebook advertising with this ad, which is kind of like basic testimonial.
Colleague engagement is critical in any business, and any competitive advantage that we can get to help us with our recruitment retention teams imperative to our success and our growth.
So when we were looking for a new insurance provider, we were looking for something that was a little bit more engaging and a little bit more exciting.
So they wanted them to work initially with this one, then the Pareto decided to create something different. They knew what is resonating. They learned the audience. They knew what's resonating with this audience of HR people. So they created this TikTok style ad. I think for Facebook, it went very successful in Facebook. Let's watch it.
Yep, so let me get this straight. You're going to reward me for working out? Yep. And I can use these rewards to buy stuff? Yep. Audi, Adidas, Nike? Yep. And I can use the app to compete with other workmates? Yep. And it's all part of ULife's insurance program? Yep. So what you're saying is just like that managed to boost productivity by 2.5% and reduce employee turnover by 2.75%? Yep. And get 181% ROI compared to other group insurance? Yep. And promote a healthy lifestyle? Yep. Good for you, HR boss. It's probably worth a bonus.
Yeah, so they use the tactic that's called bait and switch. That they saw it very resonating with the audience. Again, a tactic that is very common in TikTok when you think you're going to see something, and then you get to see an ad, right?
Colleague engagement is critical.
And they report this is their best ad for a while now. 14% more leads and 30% decrease in CPA. And obviously this UGC style is super popular and it worked well. This is another example that I did when it comes to content. So in Oribi, I wanted to double down more on content and kind of like build the content strategy in parallel to the paid marketing strategy. And then I kind of like use the wisdom of the crowd here. And kind of like this is something this is a tactic or strategy that I like, that you can reach out to your peers, you reach out even to your potential customers, to your leads, and then kind of like create content from their inputs, just because it has this kind of like effect. So when you're creating something and as a thought leader content or something around subject matter expertise, and then you quote people, they are happy to be a part of that, right? It provokes something with them, and then it kind of like creates a flywheel of sharing and engagement, and the distribution is way more easy here. So this was working really well for us. Just like, okay, instead of us writing a post about what's the best B2B creatives out there, let's just reach out to our network and our Oribi fans and then quote them on this. So this worked well. This is a nice example from Shopify. Again, writing about your mom in an ad, in an advert. Create something, right? I think they could have done a better job with the visual here, but still, I think this is a good ad. And if we're talking about signage, this is a photo that I took in my last trip to the US. I think it was in SF, and I think this one is from this ad from signed from ThoughtSpot really nails it because they provoke emotions, right? They're like they provoke FOMO with this saying the dashboards are dead. The AI powered solution just started, and it was original to say AI powered analytics back then. So I think it really worked well. And the final video that I'm going to share with you while we're staying in the dark kind of like vibes is this one by Umote.
Hey, look at this. 8 ways to boost your productivity.
I wouldn't. They're just going to blow up your inbox.
Oh, come on. Live a little. What's the worst that can happen? My thoughts exactly. What is this? I keep getting emails from that company I downloaded that free guide from. Just unsubscribe. I can't. Hello? No, I'm not interested in a free demo. It's like they're one step ahead. They're everywhere. Hello? What do you want from me?
Sure, whatever. I mean, the bottom line is I need to get the expense report to you by the end of this week, so work on that.
You need to get paid, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think that'll work. It should be fine. I can't imagine them accessing.
That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if we have time for questions, Ifat. Okay, if you have any, thank you for being with me. If you guys have any questions, just let me know here in the chat, in the QA.
We have one question that came up in the Q&A section about Google. I think it's just a curious thought.
Yeah, it's always a question about us going against Google Analytics with Google. And no, they were never they never sent warnings or anything like that. We actually worked closely with the Google team, when it came to the advertising side on YouTube and Google search. And no, anything else?
We've got a question from Kfir. Where can we find some database of scripter techniques for the copy and content?
I need to find. I think I have something saved in my own files, and I can share with you later, Kfir. I'll find you in the community.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, we got another question. Sorry. Matrix is asking, did you find success using agencies for the video ads?
So we were using, one of the video that I didn't show here, yes, we were using an agency, which was a Google partner, kind of more precisely a YouTube, for performance partner. And it worked well, but it's kind of like different because again, most of the videos we did were in-house and very kind of like low budget, so we had more control. And with agencies, sometimes it's risky because it's more money, kind of like lose control, but you get kind of like a really more luxurious, product and output. But I think the most successful video ads that we did were in-house, just like our team, and we were writing the scripts and we were shooting ourselves, and so yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Roy.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.